Larry Summers is the former U.S. Secretary of the Treasury under President Bill Clinton, and he joins me now. Larry Summers, it's good to meet you, sir. Thank you for being here today.
To be with you.
What's your reaction to this reprieve? 30 days because of more action on the border. What do you think is happening here from the president's perspective?
I guess it's certainly better than if the tariffs were imposed, but this is all surreal performance art. I don't believe that you're doing things that are profoundly different than you were ready to do before. This is letting the president off the hook on a set of threats that had done significant damage in our financial markets and undermined confidence. But I don't believe you've made a real and significant concession. You wanted to cooperate with us before on fentanyl. You're not an important source of illegal border crossings. This is all just theatrics, it seems to me, of a rather depraved sort. And I'm sorry that a U.S. president is resorting to this kind of tactic.
Yeah, $1.5 billion is the price tag of the response, and that's Canadian dollars. If that's the price tag of getting out from under 25% tariffs, Canadian government's going to pay that any day of the week, right? So do you think this will last beyond the 30 days, or do you think the president is serious on this? Because a lot of people look at things Robert Lighthizer and others have said in the past about using tariffs to force manufacturing to move to the United States, using it as a source of revenue. Do you think that's what this is really about and where this is headed?
I don't think they are a meaningful source of revenue for the United States. When government was a tiny fraction of the economy in the 19th century, tariffs could finance an important part of it, but that's not with any realism at all in today's world. I think that this is going to do damage to American manufacturing. Look, as you well know, cars go back and forth across the border as part of North American automobile production. If we have the government take money every time they go back and forth across the border, then North America is going to be less competitive with Europe, less competitive with China, and is going to have the opportunity to produce and sell fewer cars. So this is stop or I'll shoot myself in the foot economics. Yes, I'm sure if implemented, it will do damage to Canada, but economics isn't zero sum. And just because it'll do damage to Canada doesn't mean it's going to help the United States. In fact, it's going to hurt the American economy.
Yeah, we spoke to representatives of the auto sector as we were approaching this deadline, and their view was that the entire North American sector, all three countries, it would just shut down in about a week because it would become so unaffordable to make cars. You're better to just stop producing than keep making them as a money-losing venture. Do you think it would have been that severe and could be that severe should he go ahead with it 30 days from now?
I think whether it would literally shut down the automobile industry, I don't know. That it would damage the automobile industry, I have no doubt at all. These are theatrics, and I think your government did the right thing by helping President Trump walk back something that markets were saying was going to do substantial damage to the economy. And I think you did it artfully in the sense that I don't think Canada made any important concession at all. This was not a negotiating victory of any kind for the president. He'll try to portray it that way, but I don't believe that this did anything other than alienate American allies and hearten American adversaries.
When you look at his statements on it today, Secretary Summers, Donald Trump says he's pleased with the initial outcome, and he says these tariffs will be paused for a 30-day period, and he doesn't talk about fentanyl. He says it'll be paused to see whether or not a final economic deal with Canada can be structured. You know, the sense here is that this is sort of about our economic sovereignty, trying to bully us into a lesser arrangement with the United States while he's president when it comes to the review and renegotiation of NAFTA, CUSMA, USMCA, whatever acronym you like. Do you think that's where this is going in the relationship between the two countries?
I don't really know. I think that the degree of random improvisation in the policy process here is quite stunning. And I don't have any idea what's going to come next. It would be a real mistake to assume that there's some broad, coherent strategic vision behind all of this. I think there is flailing enunciation of the economic theories of the 17th century here, rather than a strategic and coherent plan. And I think it's very sad. I think that your prime minister is doing the right thing by simply absorbing this, explaining rational arguments, not losing temper or anything like that, underscoring the fact that Canada and the United States have a friendship and a relationship that transcends any single personality, that Canada wants to work together with the United States for North American security and for North American prosperity. And that's something you're going to be prepared to do. And so I think that Americans have to welcome your patience with what is a quite bizarre set of actions that are coming from our current government.
We're 2 weeks into a 4-year term, and look at where we are, sir. I just wonder, what are your thoughts about, as a final point, how you see the economic relationship functioning over the next 4 years? Like, what are the risks here if this sort of uncertainty keeps, intersecting with investment decisions, trade negotiations, trust between the two countries? What are the real risks here?
I think we're going to be poorer on our side of the border, and you're going to be poorer on your side of the border, because nobody's going to be able to make plans with confidence. I think there's going to be a higher uncertain premium in markets, and that's going to make markets not be as strong as they otherwise would be. I think the willingness to innovate and do new things is going to be diminished by an unsettled and uncertain environment. I think we're both going to lose out from losing the opportunity to partner with lower wage Mexican labor to make North America stronger. And I think the big winner here is going to be China, because people who find China problematic to deal with are going to give them another look, given the kind of uncertainty that's coming out of North America. I think they're going to be given, because of our tariffs on them, an excuse for their poor economic performance, and that's going to help to further legitimate the Communist Party. So I think that all of us who are at a little bit of distance have to just take a deep breath and carry on and recognize that this isn't forever, and get through what I think is probably going to be a difficult period.
Larry Summers, really appreciate your time and your perspective. That's former U.S. Treasury Secretary Larry Summers. Thank you for being here today, sir.
Thank you.